Okay, then to our next story. You know, students of history would recall with relish the Agbekoya Revolt of 1968 and 1969, which underscores the Yoruba core values of resistance, defiance, determination, boldness, and doggedness. Of course, Yoruba armoury lies in its supernatural myths, pantheons, mores, and history. The renewed Agbekoya Society of Nigeria says it has about 4,000 personnel providing security for farmers in the Southwest. We are getting somewhere, Olori.
Yes, this Agbekoya, anytime I read their history, I'm always excited. Excited because they came together to resist injustice. You know, one of the things that really gets me, you know, as if I was there, as if I should be a reporter and go and cover, is when they went to Makpo Hall to go and revolt. And they were singing that they will not pay if the cutlass cannot, that they will cut off the translation. Boy. So the government side now said, don't lo worry, don't ni asho bora, owo la ma fi come you know. Okay. So they were now singing, you know, back and forth. And the thing led into a war, a theater war, particularly in Ogbomoso. So many things were destroyed, including the palace. Many people were killed because some of these Agbekoya people, 20 of them were killed. And a combination of army and police could not now stem the crisis, which went into villages, into towns. So it became a big-scale war at that time. So they are still very strong. They are the biggest.
West became the wild, wild West.
Yeah, very wild. It was so wild that it took, I think it was Awolowo that now came and intervened before the matter was resolved. And what led to it? They increased tax from £1.10, reminds me of those days, £1.10 to £8. Look at the increase, almost seven. Let's remove the 10, 1 to 8, that's 7. And they resisted because most of them were poor. Poor farmers. Where would they get money to pay the tax? And they said they would not. Government insisted. And you know that in those days, many people were evading taxes. That's like what is happening now. And if you evade tax, they will lock the person in Makpo Hall in detention until somebody
at the time.
At that time. So, and somebody will now have to come and bail you. So sometimes they stay there for so many days or weeks because nobody will come. If you are not a taxpayer with evidence, you cannot bail anybody. You cannot bail anybody. So they will remain there to the extent that one of Ibadan Balogun committed suicide in protest of Ibadan young men being detained in Makpo Hall.
Boy.
Telling you. Boy. So the matter went on like that and turned to war. And so I'm glad that this same Agbekoya, they are still alive. The group is still strong.
But reformed, renewed.
Reformed, renewed, because times have changed. They've been on since 1938. I think they are celebrating their 85th anniversary or so. So, and they are now metamorphosed, you know, over the years. But they are still strong. They are still vocal. Now they have even turned, you know, the group into like a hunters group, protecting the farmers. You know, most of these farmers are in the inner villages. They are not in the cities. You don't see
like your Akpomu.
Oh, Akpomu is. There are so many villages, 26 villages under Akpomu, which are just farm villages.
Okay.
And these are where the majority of the villagers live, unprotected. So it is a group like this, Agbekoya, that has now come up to protect its members so that there will be food. If there is no food, if these farmers are no longer secured in the farms, they cannot produce food. And if they don't, there will be hunger. So for Agbekoya, I see them as a testament of endurance, a testament of courage, and a testament of resilience.
Yeah. You know, Olori's Yoruba is hitting me hard, you know.
Yes.
And to think he's a proud Ibibio daughter.
That is the completely perplexing reality about her.
Yeah.
Because she speaks Yoruba with such smoothness that you'll be wondering what's going on.
If she
even
remember
you
it
that
yourself.
even you that you are a Yoruba person, you feel challenged that it looks like this person can speak better Yoruba than me.
Oh,
So,
yeah, from the look of things.
yes.
Jide, 4,000 Agbekoyas, they have formed themselves into a powerful clique. So we are getting someplace.
Yes, it is clear now that the policing structure in our country, the way it is, it cannot deliver the goods. You can see the governor of Katsina has set up what looks like civilian JTF, which they have in Borno State. The governor of Zamfara has also indicated that they would want to set up a civilian JTF. Civilian JTF, these are civilian young boys who have been trained to handle some weapons, not the automatic
Light weapons,
rifles, yes. And they complement the army a lot. Thousands of them have been killed in the war against terror. They are usually the first to go and check a vehicle. And they know the bad boys very well because the bad boy used to live with them. In fact, it's the civilian JTF that chased Boko Haram into Sambisa.
Oh,
They
really?
used to operate in the city, killing people. You could be in a taxi, gossip about them. They will just come in the night to take you away. So, but the civilian JTF were the boys who revolted against them, sent them packing, and they have come to stay. Now, every state has realized that you need vigilantes funded by government, assisted by government to help protect the people. The police cannot do it alone. This is what we are seeing. We need states to complement the police, not just simply by providing Hilux vans and all that. I commend the Lagos State government for that. At least without those vehicles, we can't say where the police will be today.
Yeah.
And other states who are helping them with equipment, with vans and all that. But we need states in the spirit of community policing to begin to form vigilante groups that will complement the work of the police. Agbekoya has shown us that, look, this is possible, and I'm happy that they are focusing on those farmers because we want food security. How do we achieve it if bandits continue to stop people from accessing their farms?
Yeah.
You can see the success that we are recording, especially with Ondo State, in the area of Amotekun. So much work, so much progress has been made. In Osun too, they've done well with Amotekun. And Oyo State, the kind of killings that used to happen in Gangan and all those places, they have stopped because Amotekun is working with the police to make sure that we deal with those bad boys. So I'm happy to read this positive news about Amotekun, and Southwest will continue to be the safest geopolitical zone in our country if this continues.
The Amotekun is the Yoruba word for leopard. Agbekoya is, what does it mean?
The
farmers suffering or
revolt suffering, against suffering.
Yeah. Who will not? Okay, we'll take a breather now, go for a commercial break. We should be back. Please stay with us. All right, folks, we're back. Olori, let's take the Agbekoya story home. But from the angle of before now, Africa had a culture. Of course, we are going to discuss culture in greater detail in our next story. You know, we had our ways of doing things, but the white man came, those things became eroded. Now, if we have a reformed Agbekoya, who says we cannot have a reformed Igunuko and all those things?
There's nothing wrong in having such groups. It's just that, like I said, Agbekoya had been resilient about theirs. They have stood together for so long, and they are determined to still stand together and fight for the farmers. So if the other groups too would borrow a leaf from the Agbekoyas and then start such groups, it will be a good thing to have.
And so, Jide, our culture should be a veritable source of getting close to Mother Nature, because that's what it was at the
Yes,
time.
it's unfortunate that we value foreign culture more than we value our own culture. Today, we see situations in which a child doesn't even think that it makes sense to greet his parents, to say good morning. But that was not how we were raised. The influence of
Westernization?
yes, the things that they see on TV and all that, they have clearly eroded our cultural values, and it really makes no sense. But for me, the story of Agbekoya, my mom told me stories about Agbekoya, and it's a good thing that they are still there, and they are still useful, because the way things are going, insecurity in our country, we need these people.
Yeah.
There was a time when bandits were harassing us along this Lagos-Ibadan expressway. They had to call traditional rulers, OPC and the rest, and the whole thing came
deployed
down.
their men.
Yes, it came down. Amotekun began to patrol, and the whole thing came down. There was a lecturer that was even abducted at that time. We can't allow the Southwest to go the way of the Northwest. Every time the Americans come up with a travel advisory, it's usually the Southwest that they leave out. It's usually the Southwest that they leave out.
Yeah.
Because the Southwest
Can take care of its...
when you look at the major crimes committed in our country, the Southwest stands out as the safest geopolitical zone in our country. In Lagos, for example, how many kidnap cases do we record in Lagos? Very few.
Yeah.
How many terrorist activities happen in Lagos? It rarely happens. You know, so we want the Southwest to remain safe, and Amotekun is doing a good job, because Ondo is the gateway to the Southwest from the north.
That's it. That's it.
And Amotekun is especially strong in
Ondo State.
Ondo State. We used to call Governor Akredolu the Governor General of Amotekun. He's invested so much in terms of structure, infrastructure, and everything. That is the example that we want.
You will allow me to humor the Olori, because Olori will remember Agbekoya. You remember Agbekoya, the man leopard of yore. You remember Ekong, Atat, and all those things.
Those were masquerades.
Masquerade. Ekpo?
Yes, Ekpo is masquerade.
But they had a job to do in the community. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Not because they wanted to show up. No.
They have juju now.
They had, yeah?
Them get juju.
Or something like that. Or something like that. So essentially, we had our ways of taking care of our community.
Yes.
Before the white man came.
Yes. Because the community is usually a small place, so everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the criminal, everybody knows the good people. So you can hardly commit crime and get away with it.
As the Yoruba say,
They'll find you.
Ashepamo lewa, ashegbe
osi.
kosi. You may hide a wrongdoing, but that you will go unpunished.
At the appointed time, you
At the
will be found
appointed
out.
time.